this video, we're going to be changing out the reflectors on the GR Corolla. Today, we're going to be turning that into a brake light. I ended up getting the smoked version, but you can actually get these in the same exact red as this. If you guys want to do this mod, I'm going to leave a link in the description. Before we get started, I just want to show you guys something really funny. So I ended up spray painting my grass green, and I just want to show you a comparison. This is what it looked like before. Like, check out my neighbor over here. It is like completely tan. And it's green now. So guys, this is like stuff that you get excited about when you're 30 years old and you're a homeowner. I am pretty excited about getting into this today because I ordered these back in April and I never put them on. So if you guys are looking for the plug and play kit, this is not the video for you. And honestly, I don't know why a lot of people get that plug and play kit because it takes twice as long, if not longer, to install it. Plus it's very expensive. These are so easy. You can wire it through the back of the bumper and splice the wires. So we're gonna be done in no time. This is the smoked version. Let me take a peek here. Dang. Yeah, that's gonna look sick. Let's hold this up here. Let's check this out. Oh yeah, that is gonna look 10 times better. This is a parking light too, so it's gonna be on most of the time, I would say, but that red just looks so ugly in my opinion. I was gonna black it out anyway. When I saw these brake lights, I had to get them. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, and before we get started, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a different shirt and now I'm in the garage. Just to sum it up, my Audi was in here and it was broken down for quite some time. I finally just got that thing fixed today and was able to pull it out. I'm gonna make a separate video on that if you guys are curious. Filming outside of the townhouse can get a little bit crazy because there's so many noises all the time and you have a very short window when there's nobody outside. But anyway, we're gonna get into this video. So the first thing that we're gonna do is open the hatch because we are gonna access behind this tail light. So we are gonna remove this real quick. Before we do that, we're gonna tape this section up just a little bit so that we don't scratch this up because it is white and that'll scratch very easily. So let's get this taped. Call it overkill, but that's my tape job. Now I have to take this cover off because there's a couple nuts behind here or bolts. I'm not exactly sure yet, but you don't need a trim tool. You can just pop that off with your hands. And this looks like there's just a few bolts. So we're gonna grab this 10mm to take those 2 bolts off. And if you guys don't have an impact gun at this point in your life, I really recommend getting one because it makes the jobs so much easier. Good to go. This part should be fun to watch. Hopefully I don't mess up. Got this taped down really good so we don't scratch this bumper. What we're gonna do is just grab this, pull it straight back. Dang, that is like cutting my fingers. Okay, that wasn't bad. That sounded like it was gonna break. This clip at the edge looks like it's angled outward, so I'd probably recommend pulling it to the left. And what I mean by that is to literally take this, pull it a little bit to the left as you're pulling it out, just enough to where it'll meet that angle and it pops right out. All right, we're about to take out these 3 connectors in the back. There's one here, and one there. This one down here is held in by a little clip first, so you have to undo that clip to free it, and then you can unclip it. We're gonna go ahead and just rotate it down and kind of tuck it in. This way we're gonna have access to all these laying completely flat. We're gonna start with the easiest clip first, which is gonna be this one located on the top. There's a little tab on the inside right here, and we're gonna push down on that and just pull it out. After we do that, we're gonna pull it up and it's gonna release it from this little section right here. Next, we're gonna do the same thing for the brown plug. Press down, pull out. I've decided to lay a microfiber underneath this. All right, a little bit tricky to show you guys this part, but what you're gonna do is get a hook and pick tool, come from the back side and push down on the tab from the other side and then just push forward. And that's gonna get this whole thing to come out. So now that I have this out, you can see that there is a tab here and a tab here. It's kind of hard to push both of those at the same time, but that has to come through this hole. And then that's gonna be the easiest way. Take that out first and then you can undo this clip. Now that we got that last connector taken out, we have this taillight completely free. We're going to put it off to the side. The plug that we're going to worry about is going to be this long one that we took out last, and it's going to have 3 wires attached to it, a black, a blue, and a red. We're not going to worry or do anything with these wires in the back. We just wanted to disconnect those to get the taillight out of the way. We are going to be splicing into these wires. You're going to notice that this wire has a black sleeve on it. I'm going to cut this back so that we have room to play with. All right, and to cut that back, we're going to be using these tin cutters. I cut everything with this. These things are so powerful, but I'm going to link them down below. It's enough talking. Let's cut that. So now that I got that cut started, I should be able to just peel this back as far as I want, which I didn't want to remove this all the way. Just wanted to remove kind of half of it. I just cut off about halfway of that black rubber, so this should give us enough room to mess around here and splice in. But before we move any further with this, now we're going to jack up the car so that we can start taking apart the bottom and start assembling that and get the wire ready to be pulled up. And I want to briefly interrupt this video for just 1 second. If you guys could smash the like button, it costs nothing and it helps my channel out tremendously. I would appreciate it. Thank you. All right, now we're going to jack up the car so we have a little bit more room underneath to access that panel. It's all jacked up. We do have jack stands on here. Let's get into it. So while we're under here, we're going to take off this clip, and this clip. These things are ridiculously hard. There we go. Really got to work them suckers. Just so you know what you're working with here. Same technique as before. Kind of just shove a flathead in here a little bit. There we go. Third one is right by the exhaust. You just gotta like work it in there. Don't wanna scratch the bumper. Let's put that right there. All right, that got it out. There we go. Now we're gonna pop this out of the way. You can see that foam piece from the Rally Armor Mudflaps. It keeps popping out. It's not gonna last there, I can tell you that. So now we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna move it out of the way. Should be able to just pull it down. It's not connected to anything now. Connected to one more piece up there. I might take that down just for the sake of the video so you guys can see. Just know you guys won't have to. If you want to get that thing all the way out, there's just a little screw. Honestly, I wouldn't do more work than you guys have to, but if you do want that plastic piece all the way out, this is just a little screw on the top here. Zoom out. See where I'm at. I have that piece totally out. Guys, I just do stuff like this so you can see in the video. If I was doing this myself and not filming it, I wouldn't have removed this. But now I can actually get my camera up there so you guys can see. And this is the part that I screwed out from that screw. And there's just like a little slit. You can take a flathead and just slide it through 1/2 of it. And that'll be able to let you just spin it and it'll spin all the way out. Super easy. Now we're going to take a short little stubby Phillips screwdriver so that we can get the reflector out from the back. This is behind the mud flap now. This is the Phillips head screw that we need to take out. From the back side of it, we have a tab here and we have a tab here holding it in, and then the Phillips. Take that bad boy out, push the tab on the top. So these have pressure going outward, so you want to just take each tab and push them in. You can push them both in at the same time, or you can push them up one by one. Like this goes up, and it'll pop right out, and there we go, we're out already. All right, and if you didn't pop it out already, then it will just come out after you loosen it. All right, now that we have the reflector completely out, these little foam pieces need to come off the back. So just pull them off. It's just gonna be for vibration. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal, but since we are here, we might as well transfer these over to the new ones. So say goodbye to this ugly red reflector. Well, if yours is red going back on, then it's not ugly, whatever your preference is. All right, here's them side by side, and in the back, that's what it looks like. So if you notice, we do have a wire here halfway between. So what we're gonna do is take a drill and we're going to drill into the car about halfway in here. All right, so now we're going to take these little foam pieces, just place them on. All right, this is going to not be that big of a deal, so I'm just going to take a Sharpie and mark about halfway so I can drill. And if you're curious, I'm using a 7/32 drill bit. All right, that's the hole that I made. I'm going to feed this wire through. I don't even know if it lined up good enough, but I'm gonna grab it from the other side, pull it down. Looks like it fits to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and click that in place. And that is a perfect fit. Dang, that looks so good. You can't even tell that it's on there. It's just blacked out, matches that gloss black that's already on there. So if you have a core model, I'd probably go with red, to be honest with you, because that would throw it off with the gloss black. But if you have a premium or a circuit with the gloss black, I'd recommend getting the smoked because that looks amazing. And the wire, move my wire out of the way. We're gonna attempt to screw this in with one hand and a camera. I would probably recommend pushing it from the other side. This should pull it in too. Okay, so now in this part of the video, you can see that the wires are through this. I put the screw on and the wires are hanging down. So we have to get them up. There's a little gap right here. And we're gonna put something down, tape it, and pull it up. That's the easiest way. I'm gonna show you kind of what I made, but this is 4 long zip ties. I'm gonna put them together like this, and then I'm gonna apply tape to make them straight to all these, and then I'm just gonna dip this down. So this is your time to be creative. Use whatever you want. I'll show you this after it's done, and we'll see if it works. This is what it looks like afterward. And I put these zip ties in upside down so I can still use them, but I just tape these down so you can see here without me holding it, it lays completely flat. So we should be able to just dip this down, tape the wire to it, and pull it right up. So there's just like a little crack right here. So now that we have this wire up here, I'm just gonna bend it down and I'm gonna tape it to the bumper so that it doesn't fall so I can work down here. All right, now that we got these wires down here, we're just gonna put them side by side and just tape them together. And then we get to the top, we can take this tape off. Tape that down. I ended up getting these red connectors. They say 18 to 22 gauge. We're going to splice the wires with this and then put electrical tape around it to keep it nice and sealed. But I will link these down below for you guys. Before we splice these, I just realized I needed more room. So I'm going to take the rest of this off. Okay, so what I'm going to do and what I recommend is having each of these placed in a staggered form. So I'm gonna do like one on the lower end here, and then like on the blue I'm gonna be up here, and then the black I'm gonna do one preferably up here so they all can close. If you put them all in the same exact spot, you're gonna end up making a fat spot, which is gonna make it really hard to put that tail light in. So we definitely want it like this so that we can have it smooth as possible, and we'll tape it up. So let's get started. We're gonna grab our little splice connection and we're gonna start with the black wire, and like I said, I'm gonna go down as much as I can. So we're just gonna open this up, stick it in. We're gonna take the black wire here, stick it in as far as it goes. So at that point, we're gonna close this. Now we're gonna take a little bit of a fatter plier and we're gonna clamp these together. So that one is connected. Now we're gonna take the blue, shove that in here, and then the blue is gonna go to the white. This can be a little bit tricky, so just take your time. And then we're going to take the final wire, which is going to be red. Take the red wire, push it up there. And if you pull all these, they are not coming out. You can see that the red went to red like this, and then the blue to the white, and the black to the black. I may have done that a little bit close to this connector. I probably would space it out if I was to do this again here, which I'm going to do on the other side. Push this one up, push it a little bit far back, kind of stick closer to this side, but still keep them staggered. Now I'm going to tape all these up with electrical tape to keep them really nice and tight, and we'll see how that looks. So let's get this taped up. Now time to plug these connectors back into the taillight. Alright, we're going to plug in the trickiest connector first, which is going to be this one with the little clip. Okay, clip it in place. We want to make sure that those wires are not going to be in the way of this little nipple, because that has to go in here. So if you have them like this, probably not a good idea. Alright, before we go any further, I just wanted to test this out. I did notice that this wasn't lit for the parking, but now it is. I had to go back on these connectors and tighten them back up. I guess one of them wasn't pinching correctly, but after I just double checked them all, tightened every single clamp up, the parking lights are now on. Now this wire is sticking out a little bit, so I'm going to pull it up, fold it, tape this out of the way so that it's not sticking out when we push it in. Now is the time we are gonna push this back in. So we're just gonna line up that green tab first, push it in. And that popped in super easy. Nothing was behind here that is stopping it from pushing in and clicking all the way. At this point, we're just gonna button this all up. So we're just basically putting everything back together. These little screws. Then we're gonna pop on this cover. I'm sure it'll just snap in place, just push it in. Now before we take the tape off of the bumper and button up the bottom of that panel, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see shots of this and what it looks like with both of these done, and I'll also give you a little mini review. Alright, so now we're going to put that plastic piece back in. There's a little bit of a technique to get this in. Some of you would think that you're going to put it in on the back end first, but you're actually going to wiggle this top end in and around. This is if you took it out. And we're going to push down on that screw, and then we'll be able to just lift all this kind of back in to place, slide that back in, and we are good to go. We're gonna use this pull right here to put our finger in it, line up, push that in, click, that one's in. Oh, and if you guys are kind of like me and broke one and you need to get yourself a Toyota body retainer clip kit, and oh, what do we have inside? Look at all these beautiful options, and we grab this one. And look at that, beautiful, brand new. Compare that to the crusty old one. And the reason why I broke one is because you have to pull these out, like see the gap right there. If they are like this, you're not going to be able to, there's going to be too much tension. You won't be able to push it in. So you have to take one of these tools, trim tool, and pull it out a little bit more before you go back in, because it needs to be snug like that, not like that, but like that. And that's why I broke one, is because I tried to pull it a little bit too much, then they can go in freely. Take our new clip. All three clips are back on. Let's get this tape off. Didn't scratch a thing. All right, guys, that side is done. I'm not going to do the other side on camera because that's going to completely bore you. It's 1 in the morning right now. I'm going to finish that side up tomorrow, and then stay tuned for some more shots to show you guys what this looks like after we're all complete with both sides. And then I'm going to have a mini review in here so I can tell you what I think about them, if the quality's there for the price, if I even like the way they look, and we will also get some night shots for you guys. So stay tuned. I'm going to bed.
Yo guys, we're on like day 3 or something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's taking me so long to finish this video. We finally got done with the other side. This is looking so good. Let me wait a little bit longer until the sun goes down so we can get some nice epic shots of this. After that, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about it and what I think. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Let's go. Drop the cinematic in 3, 2, 1. Wow, guys, this is absolutely amazing. So we just got done shooting this car in the dark completely. So I'm gonna show you shots of that with the brake lights. I am absolutely loving this right now. And to be completely honest, you can't complain because this part cost me $17 on Amazon. That is so cheap to have something make this big of a difference. If any of you guys know me, I am a sucker for parts that cost next to nothing but make the hugest impact, or something so small that makes such a dramatic impact on the car, hence changes the complete look of the car in the back. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, and some of you guys may not have been so clever and observative to realize that I did not have these white stickers on the bottom before this shoot and before I was installing those brake lights. So if you guys want to see a video on that, because I did make one on the side, I'm going to link that up in the top. But anyway, I want to show you an up close shot about these brake lights. These look so good, and you can see the LEDs on here actually look really bright. I'm sure if this was red instead of the tinted, it'd probably be a lot brighter, but I wanted the black just because it blended in to the gloss black on the rear diffuser, like I've said before. But they look pretty identical. I'm just comparing it like this up close because it's an $18 part, and I did not have that high of expectations for a part like this. I have to say it did overperform way more than I thought it would. Another huge reason why this is actually a really good mod that you probably should do is just for the safety factor. Now, instead of those being just reflectors, they turn on a as parking lights too, and not just brake lights. So your car's able to be seen a lot better at night. You don't have to worry about somebody not noticing you and getting rear-ended. So this may help. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. And if it helped you out, hit the like button, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.